Hello.
Hi.
It's a pleasure to meet you. You have an accomplished career prior to launching your own brand, and you were able to work for The Gap, Polo Ralph Lauren, and how did you decide to leave that all behind and start your own label?
That's probably a little crazy. I've been in the business for 20 plus years, and I always had the dream of doing my own thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I read Ralph's book in the 80s, and I kind of put my sights, so that's what I want to do. But at first I wanted to learn the most I could. So working for him was a huge step in the right direction, and then I wanted to kind of learn the business side of things. And I was able to work at Gap with Mickey Drexler, and then when he went to J.CREW, I went there with him to really launch men's there. And that really kind of gave me the launch pad to do my own thing. And from there, we opened up the liquor store, and then right after that, I went out on my own.
That's so cool. And I love the liquor store.
Thanks.
It's a great concept.
I wish I could buy it.
Yeah. And you're one of the few menswear designers who have received the amazing Acclimated Award of CFDA Menswear Designer of the Year. How did you see your brand grow ever since you were awarded that?
Actually, I think it was nominated like my first 4 or 5 years, which was great. And it kept increasing awareness because I think it really helps kind of inform kind of the editors and kind of the powers that be that there's something going on. And I think that helped kind of trickle down into the customers, whether it's being reported on GQ or whether it's being reported through all the different media. It really helped. It also helped, obviously being able to do collaborations, being, somebody who's recognized as a leader in the business really helps me when I'm pitching to do a collaboration, obviously with TIMEX.
Yeah, and I'm obsessed with your collaborations you've done with Macintosh and you've done with other brands. So how did your TIMEX partnership come along?
Well, TIMEX, we've been, I would say, friends since my time at J.CREW. And I left J.CREW in 2009 and didn't really reconnect until 2013, 14. And I met them in Japan and reconnected, and then we started talking, and about a year later we did a collaboration. So I wanted to make sure that there was enough time in between what I did at J.CREW and something that I was doing on my own, because I didn't want to look like I was just copying what I was doing there. So it was perfect timing, and got to meet the whole team, got to meet the head designer, Giorgio, who's amazing, who's based out of Milan. A lot of people don't know that they actually have a Milan design office. And in fact, there's quite a few Italians that are in the business, and they know watches better than anyone. Just started meeting with them and started kicking ideas around. And Tobias came on board as the CEO right about when we made the decision, and he was very open to the idea and really wanted to make it happen. And it was, for me, a dream come true, because you never know, even though you have previous relationship, whether or not it's going to happen. But this was a really special one, and I was glad to restart. And
I'm obsessed with how you design. I feel like you're one of the few designers that does Americana meets modern right every single time, all your collections. And I'm obsessed with your online website, ToddSnyder.com, because you have managed to bring in other brands, not just your own label, in a way where it feels like it's the perfect curated wardrobe for every man. And it's a great brand.
Oh, good. Thank you.
So in terms of your watch designs, what kind of inspirations do you pull from when designing them?
Well, with TIMEX, what's really interesting is they've been around before all of us, before most any other watch brands out there. They have a vast archives. So I'm pretty much the only outside employee, I would say, that actually gets allowed into these archives. So I get to play, basically.
Yeah.
So I will go to their headquarters in Connecticut and dig through their archives. There's literally like a librarian there that basically keeps track of them all. Each one has a number, and they're all numbered.
That's so cool.
And so I get to dig through all that. So a lot of times the first one that we did was this one here, the Mod. And that actually, I had a vintage watch that I brought to the table, and had a photo of some old ones as well, and wanted to kind of recreate that face, but do it in a modern way because I didn't want something super tiny. It actually originally was a kid's watch. It was much smaller. It was probably like 30 millimeters. It was pretty small. And wanted to grow it up a little bit and make it a little bit more masculine.
Yeah, no, I really like this.
But I love the graphicness of the dial. So that was our first one, and that thing blew out. It was gone. I think we bought 1,000. I think it was gone in like 2 days, 3 days. It was crazy. So that really took off well, and then that let us, go on the next chase and figure out what the next one was. And these take about 1.5 years to kind of create, because you have to build a different case, you have to do a different dial. Some of these share the same case, but that was the first one. So a lot of these come from the archives. I think most of these actually do. These are all original designs. Giorgio, the designer, designed them, and then I saw this amazing design. It's called Waterbury, and it's the chrono, which always does really well for us. And they had the case and everything developed, but I said, what if we do like a blacked out version of that? What if we do kind of like, I wanted to do something like
a matte black.
Yeah, like chunky, and these are great. I mean, these are have a really good weight to them, and
That's really nice.
yeah, they're if you're into big watches, they're big enough to me, without being too. You've seen some people that have like double that size, or the little one.
Yeah.
This is like a nice in between, and I like it because it has that kind of sporty feel with the chronos,
but it's still a little bit more polished.
Yeah, because I always try to like figure out how to make it look masculine without making it look too masculine and making it look too slick. So there's a balance in kind of taking all those pieces into play. But this was, like I said, good luck trying with that. Something that existed that I kind of just put my own little signature on. All of these are really, taken from the archive. That's obviously a colorway of that. This guy here was also an archival watch that we took out, I think from the 70s as well. We called it the Blackjack. This launched, I think, 2 years ago.
I love the puppy blue.
Yeah, it's nice. Again, it just has a very kind of, it almost feels 80s in a way. Almost feels like, I hate to say the word Swatch, but I will. But they did it before Swatch was even around.
Yeah.
Which is kind of cool. But yeah, these were the two first, and then we move on to the military watches.
I like it.
So this was inspired by some of their vintage watches. They had one that was, again, I think a lot of these from the 70s, that was similar to this, and I kind of tweaked the dial a bit and added the size, and we've always kind of liked these straps, the NATO straps, which I have hundreds of, and I'm always like,
I love using it and then turning out all my
match your outfit.
Yeah,
it's cool. I think it's again, kind of, if you're not into the oversized look, you can kind of do this, which is kind of neat as well.
And this is the black face.
Yeah, I think I have most of these, with the exception of, I don't have every colorway of the military because it was just too much. I'm like,
I can't wear all of these.
Yeah, but they're all my favorites. It's a lot of people ask me, well, which one's your favorite? I'm like,
So in a sense, you're designing for yourself, like what you would really love to have as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's like picking your favorite kid. It's like, well,
it's hard to choose.
It's hard to pick. It depends on the day. It depends on
on the mood.
And that's it. I have two kids, and that's usually the answer. Well, it depends on the day.
Yeah. All right. So the Todd Snyder brand has thrived immensely. I've known about your brand for many years, even when I was a kid.
Wow, really?
And it's a highly saturated fashion market. So how have you been able to keep your brand feeling fresh and also growing above and beyond every single year when it comes to the competitors?
Well, I think for me, it's always kind of been about keeping things grounded with foundations that are classic. And I think for me, you mentioned the collaborations I've done. I've done Champion, which really kind of allows me to play in that kind of active world. And now, obviously, you see active. Not that I invented it, but you see active being like street is like the thing right now. And Champion gives me opportunity to really kind of play in that, which I think is great. But I'm not going to change my entire DNA or ethos to become a street brand. Like, we kind of call ourselves like gentleman hype, this to me is our hype, and doing collaborations with brands that are heritage, have great heritage, and are really kind of iconic and original in their space. I mean, they essentially invented the wristwatch. Yeah,
and you bring a little bit of newness, but it still stays true to the brand.
Exactly, and that's what I try to do with all my collaborations, is that I try to stay true to who I am and to who they are, and just do the right blend of newness. But it's really starting with those foundation pieces, whether it's a great suit, or it's a great pair of jeans, or the perfect sneaker, the perfect shoe, the perfect watch. Like, having all those little things kind of adds up to be, and that's where you see great style. You see somebody like Steve McQueen, I always kind of refer to, and Paul Newman, even young Hollywood today. There's a style that they have that they kind of, I think guys that have great style, it stays with them the entire time. Meaning they don't all of a sudden start wearing sneakers and tracksuits. They're Jake Gyllenhaal is a good example of a guy who's got great style. It's consistent. There's a consistency that needs to always be there, and the foundations help that consistency. You make those investments in all those pieces that are kind of classic, and then as fashion comes along, you add a few of those things into your wardrobe as opposed to changing your wardrobe all the time.
And your brand is probably one of the more talked about brands that I've talked about on my blog over the past couple of years.
Oh, awesome.
Especially out of America.
Yeah.
And
well, we make a lot here, so maybe that's why we make all of our knits in Toronto.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah, and our suits are made in Montreal. So.
Oh, that's amazing. Oh, I know. Yeah. Montreal is huge for suits.
Oh my God, it's huge. We used to make denim out there, but my guy decided to grow lettuce instead of make denim, which I was like,
that's
I don't know why.
Strange change.
I know, but he makes more money now, so he's much happier.
So I'm gonna do some quick fire questions.
Okay.
So what are 3 things you can never leave your house with?
My watch, which is true because I don't have my watch, and I'm always like super into music, so I always need to make sure I'm obsessed now with my headphones, my earpods.
Oh yeah, I have Bluetooth headphones. They're the greatest thing.
I cannot. I honestly have turned around. I've been like 3 blocks away from my apartment and turned around to get my headphones.
I do it all the time.
Because I also do all conference calls. You never know. It's like having that. So, and then second of all, our third is really just making sure I have the right jacket. And what I mean by that is just making sure that you're paying attention to the elements and making sure that you've got, whether it's raining or too cold or whatever. I mean, I'm sure you're like this here. You never know what the weather is going to hold.
Oh, tell me about it. Yeah, I'm always
It's raining, and you're like, I gotta change it.
And it's the worst because during fall, it'll be like super cold in the morning, and all of a sudden it's super hot, and I'm dressing throughout the day. So what menswear trends would you never be caught dead in?
Oof, that's a tough one. Square-toed shoes.
Terrible. Yeah.
Whoever invented that should be like completely humiliated. But square-toed shoes to me are probably the easiest one. How many do you want?
You can get more.
Square-toed shoes are probably the biggest things that
I'm sure I know the answer to this.
Yes.
But are you a denim or chinos guy?
What do you think I am?
Denim.
Yeah. Denim. Even though I'm wearing what I wouldn't call chinos.
A little bit of a slack.
Yeah.
And leather jackets or a wool top coat?
I'm much more of a wool top coat. I mean, leather I love. Don't get me wrong. I'll wait. Outerwear is a tough one for me because I'm kind of an outerwear nut.
Junkie?
My closet is like, I have more outerwear pieces than I think I have in shirts.
Same here. It's the best way to change out your outfit, and it's easy.
So it's for me, I have them all. I have leather, I have suede jackets, but especially right now, I might have to lean a bit more towards the overcoat because it's kind of like the it piece right now. pair of trainers in an overcoat, and you kind of look like you're in a
We're all
Parisian.
together. And
You're
yeah,
a Parisian going to all
together. You look great.
the shows.
So where can we find TIMEX / Todd Snyder collaboration?
The Hudson's Bay.
Amazing.
Yeah, it's great. We have been, since we started, it's only been exclusively on ToddSnyder.com or in our store. And then this year is the first year we've let it out, and Hudson's Bay was like
The perfect
perfect partner and
Yeah.
everything. I mean, I've been big fans. Like I said, I count them up here a lot because we produce a lot up here, so I'm very aware of who they are. And when they had asked, I'm like, absolutely, have to do it.
We need the like Hudson Bay stripes collaborating with Todd Snyder soon. That'll be iconic. So thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. Well, that was quick.
Absolute pleasure.
Yeah, my pleasure. Great to meet you.
Yeah.
And that's